How do you handle social events when you stop drinking? It was one of the things that caused me so much fear and concern. I didn't understand how I could go to a pub or to a party or to a wedding reception without having alcohol. Everyone around me was going to be drinking. It was going to be a scary prospect. Surely I wouldn't enjoy myself. I'm Simon Chappell. I'm the author of the Sober Survival Guide and the book How to Quit Alcohol in 50 Days. And I want to share with you how you can navigate social events without alcohol and still have a great time. The fact is that when we've quit drinking, those sort of events can seem really daunting. And in our first year of sobriety, there are so many firsts that come up. We have our first Christmas, our first birthday without alcohol, and of course, New Year's Eve, Thanksgiving, and any other type of celebration or event. And each one of those can fill us with a sense of anxiety, a sense of worry. But it's really important to remember that once we've got them out of the way, they just get easier. The first time you've done anything can often seem daunting. It can seem like a scary prospect. And I'm sure you can think of examples in your own life. The first time you started a new job, the first day, I'm sure you would have been anxious about it. And now it's just second nature. You don't even think about it. And it's the same when you quit drinking. The first time you go to a social event can seem unusual. You can feel like a fish out of water. But once you've done it a few times, it becomes second nature. You're enjoying yourself, you're fully present and connected with the people around you, and you're having more fun than ever. And that's the important thing to bear in mind. When I was drinking, I truly believed that I couldn't have fun without alcohol. I gave alcohol all the credit for making social events fun, when in fact, after I stripped alcohol out of the equation, I realized that I actually have more fun when I'm not drinking. And that's definitely the case as I got later into the evening and into the next day. Sure, the first hour or 90 minutes, I would feel a sense of euphoria. But after that, it was a downhill journey. We need to remember that alcohol is a drug, so there has to be an upside. The upside is the first hour or so when we feel that euphoric sensation. But after that, our brain is trying to get us back to a balanced state of homeostasis, which is where it wants to keep us at all times. And it tries to bring us back down by releasing dynorphin to counteract the dopamine release from the first one or two drinks that we've had. And that sends us into a state of emotional instability. And that can carry on into the night. The more we drink, the more emotionally unstable we can become. And the next morning, of course, we suffer hangovers. We might have a sense of shame and regret around the way that we behaved. We might have done something that we deeply regret. It just continues. And of course, we're going to be craving for more drink. So by forming a solid new belief that you actually have more fun and way less anxiety and stress when you don't drink, and gathering that evidence by giving yourself the opportunity to experience it, you will start to truly realize that what I'm talking about is 100% the case. Now, social events, as I say, they can feel like a challenge at the start. And I want to give you some tips and some tactics to ensure that you can navigate them. And the first thing that I'd recommend doing if you've quit drinking and you're heading to a social event is spending a few minutes visualizing how you can see it going. Play it through like a movie in your mind. Visualize yourself with what you're wearing, leaving the house, getting into the car and pulling up at the venue, and then stepping out of the car and walking through the doors. You can even write it down in your journal if you'd prefer to do that. And then visualize yourself entering the venue where the social event is taking place, and maybe introducing yourself to people or saying hello to friends. And take a moment to just see how that looks and try and notice how you feel as you do that visualization. And think ahead if anyone asks you what you're drinking or why you're not drinking alcohol. Consider what you're going to say. You can find a whole list of things you can say on my blog, but do decide ahead of time how you're going to approach that. A great strategy is simply keeping a glass in your hand and making sure there's some liquid in the glass, because when you've got that, people are very unlikely to ask you if you want to drink. I'd also recommend thinking about what you are going to drink. There are some amazing alcohol-free drinks available. And I'm not just talking about zero alcohol beers and wines. There's a whole world of botanical drinks and drinks that aren't trying to pass themselves off as tasting like an alcoholic drink. They're just completely unique and they feel grown up. They come in amazing packaging. These are adult drinks without any alcohol, and I'd encourage you to check them out. Take a look at the websites like Dry Drinker, or look at Seedlip as one of the drink options that you could consider. So think about phoning ahead, talking to the venue and telling them that one of your dietary requirements, if there's a meal involved, is that you don't drink alcohol. What have they got to cater for you? And if they don't have what you want or what you like, ask them if it's okay to bring your own, and maybe you could even put that behind the bar. It always makes sense to talk to a friendly bartender and tell them that you don't drink. If you feel self-conscious asking them for alcohol-free drinks, if you've had a friendly word before there's many people at the event, they will just know what you're drinking. You can tell them ahead of time and you haven't then got to worry about asking for a zero alcohol drink in front of other people. That just say to them, oh, can I have my usual, or can I have what I had last time? And they'll know what you're talking about. So that's another great tactic that I'd recommend using. If you can attend the event with somebody who is supportive, caring, who knows that you've quit alcohol and wants to make sure that you're okay and they've got your back, then that's all the better. So maybe a partner or a close friend would be a great person to have alongside you. And if you know that there's anyone else attending the event who doesn't drink, try and align yourself with them. If it's a sit down event, maybe you could sit yourself next to them if that's an option, but try and ensure that you've got some form of support around you if possible, and take the time to think about what you're going to say if anybody asks you questions around why you're not drinking alcohol, why you haven't got a drink in your hand. But do try and keep a glass in your hand. It's really, really sensible. The next thing to consider is adopting a sense of curiosity. And this absolutely happened for me at the first few social events I went to, and I still do it now. Sometimes I feel a bit like David Attenborough, the nature documentary maker, where I'm at an event and I feel like I'm observing the way that people drink with a sense of curiosity. And it was so eye-opening, particularly at the first event, which was a sit-down meal, to see how some people made a glass of wine last for 3 courses of their dinner. Other people would have worked their way through 2 bottles by the main course, which is what I would have done. And other people weren't drinking at all. And it was really, really eye-opening. And also get to notice the different stages of drunkenness. You'll see people early in the evening, perhaps being slightly shy, slightly reserved. And you'll notice as they drink more that they become louder and they become more outward in terms of the way that they're behaving. It's a really interesting thing to observe. And what you'll also find is after 2 or 3 hours, drunk people become really, really annoying. They will be talking loudly. They won't be listening to what you're saying. They'll repeat themselves and they'll probably spray your face with spit. And I often find that that's the sort of time that I decide to leave. I ask myself, am I having fun any longer? And if the answer is no, I will make a sharp exit. And drunk people don't notice if you slip off early. It's absolutely fine. And that's the other tactic, is to make sure you've always got an exit strategy. If you find yourself being triggered to drink, or you just realize that you're not having fun anymore, then that's the time to make an exit, head back home and get into your nice comfy bed, or sit on your couch and watch a TV show that you love with a tub of ice cream, whatever you need to do. But don't hang around any longer if you start to feel a sense of discomfort. So take the time to really plan through your strategy. Now, the beauty of not drinking, of course, is that you can drive to these sort of events. So it's really easy to have that exit strategy right there when you need it. But it's important to check in with yourself, pay attention to how you're feeling. And even if you feel some cravings to drink, or you feel a sense of envy because other people are drinking, just notice it and then check back in with yourself and be proud proud that you're one of the few people in the room who aren't drinking, who is fully present and engaged, and probably one of the few people who will have memories of the evening that you'll be able to keep for a long, long time. Alcohol massively disrupts our short-term memory. When you're not drinking, you get the beauty of being able to retain all your memories. And you might also find that you enjoy driving your friends home after they've had a drink. Someone I know actually enjoys staying right till the early hours of the morning with her friends, and then she'll drive them home, and she enjoys the sense of making sure they got home okay and looking after them. Whatever works for you. Personally, I may be home, be in bed by about 11:30 p.m. midnight at the latest. I need to get my beauty sleep. So whatever is right for you, just give it some consideration. But what I don't want you to do is fail to prepare before you go to any kind of social event. It's really important just to visualize it, think about how it's going to play out, consider alcohol-free drinks, become really curious and pay attention to what's going on around you. Notice people as they become more and more drunk, and always have that exit strategy so you can leave whenever you want to get out of there.